Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on liquid air, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, good people? What is happening? Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. It is Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night because tomorrow's trash day, Wednesday here. So yeah, Tuesday night. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. My Eagles are in the news. Monica McNutt is in the news. LeBron is still in the news. Stephen A. Smith is still in the news. Olivia Miles is in the news. LSU now is in the news. A lot of stuff going on, man. It's been a nonstop sports news cycle. Very interesting. Now we knew the information from the Final Four and the games last night. Phenomenal games. I don't give a damn what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. The games were phenomenal. I've been enjoying them, and of course, everybody to use the I don't want to say crutch, but immediately everybody wants to compare what happened with the 2 seasons with Ciatlin Clark when she made it to the Natty game and lost both times. She's the Buffalo Bills of college basketball. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of comparison. Everything has to be compared now. If it doesn't meet up to a certain standard, that means it's not as good, and that, in my opinion, is not the case. Now we're going to get into a little bit of this Monica McNutt interview on the BBC, which was a good interview. Definitely a good interview. Nah, Kev. See, that's the thing. And this is where I'm proud to say that I have learned. And I learned this last year with the WNBA. Before I go ham, before I go full tilt on something, got to do your homework. Got to do your homework. Last year, Ciatlin Clark's rookie year, when she was getting all the fouls and everybody was bumping her and stuff like that, the optics of it wasn't good and it was looking a certain type of way. And I started kind of falling into that. And I said, hold on, pump your brakes. Let me go pick up some receipts and go. I went on YouTube and I looked at highlights from games that were 3, 4, and 5 years ago. And then, of course, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what they do. This is how they play. This is not anything. This is not targeting. It is what it is. How can I, and I did at the time, admittedly, how am I going to go at Kennedy Carter when she bumped Ciatlin Clark in that one game and not look at what happened to Candace Parker, her rookie season in Detroit? That was a full-on knockdown, drag-out, fist-swinging brawl in Detroit. Candace Parker was in the center of it. She was a rookie. And they were throwing down. So when you see that, the little cheap shot she took, and it was a cheap shot. It is what it is. But sometimes that happens in basketball. That shit happens all the time in the NBA, all the time. You just saw the fight that they had in Detroit. Big fight. And that was another situation where y'all got to see my video about egos. That fight in the NBA the other day, that was strictly about ego. I dunked on you, don't wag your finger, blah, blah, back and forth. It's all about shit talking. It's all about shit talking. So, and that's the nature of the beast. That happens in every sport. It happens in every game. So that is nothing new. And I'm saying that to say, once I went back and did some homework, watched some games, and looked at the context in the macro, then I had to step back and say, nah, this ain't targeting. Ain't nobody targeting Caitlin Clark. Ain't nobody trying to take her out. Wasn't nobody trying to do that. What they was trying to do was give the business to this hot young rookie that was coming in and getting all the attention. That happens in every sport. In the NFL, if you a top draft pick and you in the preseason, everybody's trying to have their best play against you. That makes their value go up. Oh, I'm an undrafted free agent, but I just shook that first round linebacker out of his shoes and scored a touchdown. That's a third year all pro first round draft pick veteran cornerback, and I just blew by him and mossed him. That makes my value go up. That's exactly what was happening with Caitlin Clark. The only difference is when it comes to the WNBA, nobody had ever seen that before. Nobody. And we could argue this, and people could argue this. Nobody has garnered this much hype when they left college. I don't believe it was Diana Taurasi. I don't believe it was Asia Wilson, not Arike, not Kelsey, not Sabrina. None of them. Now they all had fanfare, but the difference, and this is what I try to get everybody to understand, the difference when you're talking about Caitlin Clark, and I always use myself as an example because I always say this all the time. I followed Kelsey Mitchell in the WNBA. I did not follow the WNBA. I knew Kelsey Mitchell played. I knew what she did at Ohio State. I knew the record she broke then. Kelsey Mitchell went to my high school. Her father was a very good friend of mine. So it was personal when it came to Kelsey Mitchell. It was a personal thing. I didn't watch it to watch the WNBA. I watched it because of her, my homegirl, my high school personal connection. So when Caitlin Clark happened, and I start hearing about Caitlin Clark, and I start watching her, ooh, she got some game. Then they go in the tournament. She's still popping threes. Then Iowa versus LSU happens. And then this happens. And I was like, oh, okay. And then LSU and Kim Mulkey and Angel Reese took over. And then the next year, I was like, oh, this is good. So I kept watching the following year. LSU had the controversy. If you remember, that following year, Angel Reese wasn't playing. She was off the team for the first 2-3 weeks or whatever. Kim Mulkey wasn't saying nothing. Then it was rumors she wasn't going to class. And then Angel Reese's mom and Flaujae's mom was getting into it. So it was always some controversy. Then Caitlin Clark happened again. She's still popping half-court logo threes, and everybody starts watching and paying attention. Then Dawn Staley's going undefeated. They get the incredible shot by Camila Cardoso to beat Tennessee in the SEC championship, and then they end up going undefeated. Caitlin Clark loses again. Let's not forget how much of an accomplishment it is to go to the finals, to the final game back to back. It's a shame that she didn't win one, but she ran up against two buzzsaws. Iowa ran up against two buzzsaws both years. LSU was hot. They had the better team. South Carolina was hot. They had the better team, and they had them Twin Towers. You couldn't do nothing with them. Cardoso was killing everything. Chloe was not as good as she is now, but she was still good. Ashlyn Watkins was still healthy. So they had in my opinion, a little bit better team than they got right now. And they might go to the finals again. Dawn Staley has a legitimate shot to repeat. Don't get it twisted. But the whole Caitlin Clark thing kept going and the momentum kept building. And then she lost. But when they went to the league, the combination of her and Angel Reese and that whole Rakea Jackson and Cameron Brink, all of them collectively, they took the WNBA by storm. And Caitlin Clark came out the pack, taking everybody's attention. Everybody wanted to see her, and you couldn't deny that. And the problem, as I see it, is everybody was trying to deny it. I didn't understand that. I know. Well, don't take that back. I did understand it. I did understand it. But we have had too many instances and examples where you know what it is when you see it. You know what it is when you see it. Hey, Kev, you 100% right. Del Don was getting the same type of hype, but the recipe just didn't work. The recipe just didn't work. And the problem, not the problem, but the response and the attitude that was out there was straight up, it looked like jealousy. The optics of it were jealousy. And I use that word a lot because I use that word in the NFL. Y'all know I'm a former Philadelphia Eagle, and the Eagles are in the news right now because they're trying to ban the brotherly shove, the tush push, whatever you want to call it. And they're trying to do it only because the Eagles are doing it. The Eagles are good at it. But everybody's trying to say the optics of it don't look good for football. It's a rugby play. It's not a football play. They're giving up all these excuses that don't really matter. Because if it was another team that wasn't named the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't think people would give a damn. So the optics of a thing matter. And the optics was that the WNBA, the veterans, were jealous because for whatever reason, Caitlin Clark had the recipe. This ain't got nothing to do with how much influence Angel Reese has or that Asia Wilson was the best, unquestionably the best player in the league. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with, for whatever reason, Caitlin Clark had the recipe coming out of college and the fandom followed. That's the first time I've ever seen that on the women's side. And when I'm talking about fandom, and this is when I insert myself into the conversation, because once I started watching the WNBA, and I said it like this, and I still say it like this, because I'm only a second year WNBA fan. I am what the WNBA is looking like, or what they're looking for. I spent money on the league package on the WNBA.com. I spent money when I didn't spend it before. I'm the new customer that they're looking for. I already know there's been people that have been watching the game for years, since Cheryl Swoops and Tina Thompson and all of them and Candace. People have been watching the WNBA for years. The only problem is it just hasn't been a lot of people. And then here comes Caitlin Clark. And again, for whatever that recipe is, it captured a lot of people. And I was one of them. So I wanted to start watching. And because I started watching, I started following Jonquel Jones. I started following Sabrina Ionescu. I started following Kelsey Plum. And of course, Kelsey Mitchell. So it was the trickle-down effect. That's how it works. But the way I rationalize it is, who gives a damn who kicks in the door as long as the door is open? Well, a lot of players in the WNBA was mad because it was Caitlin Clark that kicked in the door. Now, since then, you got your Angel Reese and Rakea and Cameron. The profiles have leveled up, especially when it comes to Angel Reese. Because I've said this before, when it comes to basketball and the what everybody's looking for as far as basketball, Caitlin Clark is the leader of the pack, unquestionable. When it comes to the social media influence, Angel Reese is the leader of the pack, unquestionable. What Angel Reese is doing on social media, she got it on lock. Everything that happened with Unrivaled, she got social media on lock. It ain't even close. Why Kathy Engelbert ain't trying to utilize and connect with her people. I don't understand that. The success or failure of Kathy Engelbert is a whole nother conversation. But in this conversation, looking at what Monica McNutt said, she wasn't hating, because the first thing I do, because I was about to do a video yesterday and blast, because I was like, because she's white, I was like, wait a minute, time out. Because that spits in the face of Del Don and Diana Taurasi and Kelsey Plum and a lot of others that came way before Caitlin Clark that were better than Caitlin Clark. So I was like, is she spit in the face of all of these? And so I had to watch the whole interview, and that's what people ain't doing. Now, I will say this. I'm going to play the clip in a second. I will say this. She wasn't hating. She was making a point. And because the whole interview is a very positive interview in its entirety. In my opinion, that little 3-second comment, she could have left out and could have made the same point. But she didn't. That was her prerogative. She spoke her mind, and I was good with that, because it wasn't as bad as everybody thought it was. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was initially, because all I heard was that little segment, and I didn't hear the context of the whole conversation. After hearing the whole 12-minute conversation, I understand what she was saying. It wasn't hate. She was trying to make a point. And I understand the point. I won't even say I disagree with it. I'll just say it was unnecessary. She didn't even have to bring that up. She didn't have to say it. And you ought to, she should know by now, if you bring that up, people are going to come at you. People are going to come at you. So, Kelsey, the bailout queen, I think the W coaches failed by not playing all the rookies. Amen. To me, every team could have had their rookie moment. I hope they learn this time around, because the next draft is even more loaded. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, Kelsey. 100%. I was so disappointed in Cheryl Reeves. Not because she didn't put Ciatlin on the Olympic team. That's a whole nother conversation too. But she kept Alyssa Pilley on the bench. You are in Minnesota. You are in the place with probably the highest Native American population in the country. And you got a Native on your team who's good, and you didn't play her. And the one time you did play her, the only thing she did was drop 20. Missed opportunity. And you got her languishing on the bench. So I agree with you 100%. You got to play the rookies. I think that's the one door that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese kicked in. You got to play these rookies. You are not gonna, because the person I'm interested to see now is, I want to, just like Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. You got two hot shooters. You got the hot one coming out of college, and you got the veteran that can shoot the lights out. So now you got Paige Beckers and Arike Agumbawale. And you know Arike loves to shoot the ball. They said the same thing about Kelsey Mitchell. It took them some time, but they figured out what their balance was, and it worked. It worked. Because if you watched the entire season last year, there were a whole lot of games where Caitlin Clark was on the struggle bus. She couldn't hit a mirror in the bathroom. And for whatever reason, the girl did not want to shoot mid-range shots last year. I don't know what that was. Everything had to be from deep. Yes, that might be an exaggeration. She did shoot mid-range shots, just not a lot of them. She was skipping. She was passing up shots to move around to get to three. At least that's what it looked like to me. And there was a couple of games where she couldn't. She just, she was 3 for 12 or something like that from three. And if it wasn't for Kelsey Mitchell shooting and taking it to the hole, Indiana would have been on the struggle bus for real. Especially, they looked better after the break. But even after the break, there were a couple of games where Caitlin Clark just didn't have it, but she could pass the ball. She was passing her ass off. That's the same situation that Paige and Arike are going to find themselves in. Now, I don't think Paige is as good at a passer as Caitlin is, but Paige can shoot that rock. Paige can shoot that rock. I will have to see if her body makeup is going to help her or hurt her when she gets to the W, because she is a very slim, live, built female. She's not built for strength. She is what I would consider like a slasher type. She's not one of those bow bow shake you real fast, quick twitch type players. She is very slashing. She'll set you up. She's very strategic on what she do. And as soon as you think you got her, she's up in the air shooting that J, hitting it. So she knows what she wants to do. So I am very interested to see, and because of Paige Beckers, the amount of attention is going to be on Dallas a little bit more. But they got all their eggs in one basket trying to follow Caitlin Clark. So what's going on, Tiffany? What's going on, Carlos? Tinfoil Jones, what's going on? Black people fantasize about white people 24/7. White envy rolls on and on and on. I don't know about all of that. Yeah, I wanted to see Alyssa Paley. It was, I just thought Cheryl Reeves, she was stuck on that veteran presence, and that showed in what she did in the Olympics. So it is what it is. To me, C2 wasn't good at face front low dribble. That's why it was hard for her to shake the first defender and get free and hit the midi. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but she still had a lot of opportunities that she passed up, that she shot through the paint around to the other side and set herself up for a three. And a lot of times when she did set herself up and got the open shot, she didn't hit. And let's not forget, Kelsey Mitchell was the best three-point shooter of that team last year. Kelsey Mitchell shot 36 point something percent, and Caitlin Clark only shot, I believe, 32. So, but the second half of the season, at least it seemed like to me, she relied more on her passing, and that helped everybody out more. So we'll see what they do with the team they got this year. They got a lot of veterans this year, and they are looking good, and a lot of people have them favored to go far in the playoffs. I pump my brakes on that type of stuff until I actually see those women play together on the court. I do the same thing when it comes to baseball, football, basketball, any sport. Right now, baseball is hot. The Phillies just got started. Opening day was last week. They played 5 games, and everybody's talking about, can we make it to the World Series? And it's like, dude, can we at least watch 20 games before you form an opinion? When the NFL comes back around, I do not have an opinion on the Eagles or any other NFL team until week 4. You got to give yourself at least 4 weeks to play to see what type of team you got. Basketball is no different. They all look good on paper. They all look great on paper, but they just paper tigers because I ain't seen them play yet. And I've seen many situations where the best team on paper don't do jack shit in the season. So they still got to play. They still got to play. And guess what? New York City ain't going nowhere. Minnesota ain't going nowhere. And Fee is on a mission. I would argue that Fee is the best player in the league right now. Well, I would say some would argue, because I still think Asia Wilson is the best player in the league still. Fee is, I won't even call it 1 and 1A. I would call it 1 and 1.001. That's how, to me, that's how close Asia and Fee are together. And I still got to give it to Asia, just because I just think Asia is just a little bit better, a little bit more physical, and she got a little bit better all-around game. Blocks, steals, shots, mids, she can shoot the three. Fee has the same thing. Asia got the championships, but Asia had a better team. So, but like I said, Asia, Fee, They neck and neck. You can't go wrong with either one, in my opinion. And now everybody's profile is rising because now everybody wants to see. And I said this the other day. Um, outside of Indiana, take Indiana off the table. Chicago, Dallas, Seattle, Washington, Chicago. And I'm missing some teams, but all of these other teams that are not Las Vegas, New York, and Indiana. Everybody else in the W, your fans have got to show up. Your fans have got to watch the games because this is going to determine. I'm not talking about the 41 games that Indiana's going to be on television. I'm talking about everything else because everybody done bitch, moan, and complained about that till the cows come home already, and it ain't going to change a damn bit of thing, a damn bit of difference. It ain't going to make a bit of difference. What they're going to do is they're going to capitalize on who the most popular player in the league is right now. That's Ciatlin Clark. She is going to bring in the money. That in turn is going to give the W some leverage when it comes to their CBA because they know advertisers know where the money is. That's going to help them out. I just hope they don't screw this up. Curious to see if Paige gets the same full court bull rush attention CC got. Probably not. Probably not, but we'll see. I meant to find that video. I believe it was Seattle when Indiana played Seattle the first time, and Ciatlin Clark had her welcome to the W moment, where I think it was Bonita Laney Hamilton set a pick, and just Ciatlin Clark just was not looking, and she got floored. And I was like, "Yep, got to keep your head on the swivel." She got floored. She was just looking back to the ball. When she turned around, it was like, bow. And the girl didn't move. Laney Hamilton was just right there, set up. I think that's who it was. But yeah, they're gonna be trying to give Paige the business. So we'll see how she responds. We'll see how she responds because the same thing they said about Ciatlin last year should be the same thing they're saying about Paige this year, and everybody and all these other rookies coming out. It should be the same thing. They're going to be playing with other grown women and all of that other kind of nonsense. It's like, hey, at the end of the day, if you can play, you can play. And let's not forget, these women have been playing when they was 12 and 13 years old. They was playing with 14 and 15 years old. So they've always played up. That's why they so good. That's why they so good. Kelsey Mitchell is the most potent scorer in the last 5 minutes of close games. Yes, she is. Her shot percentage goes above 55% in clutch. She's an absolute assassin. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Tiffany, I don't get that either. I'm like, let them play. I'm not going to talk about the Phillies until they played at least 25 games. They play 162. They did the same thing last year. They weren't even 20 games in the season, and people in Philly was bitching and moaning already. And they ended up making it to the World Series. So, 25 games in, then I'll have an opinion of what the Phillies look like. 4 games in, I have an opinion of what the Eagles look like. I got to have at least, I'm going to say with the W, give me about 7. They play 40. Give me about 7. 7 to 10. That's fair. Because you teams got to fill each other out. They got to, and again, it's one thing when you do it in practice. It's another thing when you do it against live competition. Things don't always go the way you think. So, Asia and Fee are goat neck and neck. Fee has to have a phenomenal year to really close the gap in the combo, but I agree it is close. Yeah, has Fee won a championship in the W? I don't think so, has she? She won it. Where'd she go? UConn? I don't think she's won in the W. I could be wrong. She is. Yep, she went to UConn 2015, 2019. She was the first round, sixth overall pick, Minnesota Lynx. Four-time All-Star, blah, 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 blah. Lots of accomplishments, but everything but NCAA champion in 2016. So she did win the title, but a lot of All-Stars, but no WNBA championship. She does not have one. Unrivaled MVP. Henry T. Hurley Jr. Paige does not play dominant, so it should be harder to trap her. Plus, there were trust issues at the beginning of the year for the Fever. I agree with that. I agree with both. Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. She doesn't play ball dominant. Well, Arike does. So Paige doesn't mind giving up the ball. Again, I don't think she's a good passer, but I don't think she's a passer like CC is a passer. But she's still a good passer. That's not a slight to Paige Beckers at all. So again, I want to see what that dynamic is going to look like because Arike's got to get the ball because if that girl gets hot, Lord have mercy, Arike Agumbawale can hurt your feelings. So that's the dynamic stuff that you want to see. What do they act like and what do they, how does it work when they get on the court? Good comment. Yeah. Yeah, Brianna Stewart. You know what? And let me be honest with you, Stewie, in the W, in my opinion, is going downhill. After that performance in the finals last year, I was so mad that Fee didn't win that because that Minnesota had every opportunity to take them games and they couldn't do it. Sabrina Ionescu, that whole series couldn't hit a damn thing. She could not hit. Oh my God, her shooting was horrible in the finals last year. But she hit the shot that she needed to make. That shot pretty much gave them the title. That took them to overtime. They ended up winning that game, I believe. So even though she had a very bad finals, she hit the shot that she needed to hit. Sometimes, all it takes is one play. She had a horrible finals series, but that one shot made the difference. Then Jonquel Jones did what she did. Brianna Stewart looked average at best. There was a couple times she missed free throws to seal a game one time. So, everybody had their ups and downs. That's in every sport. Arike is a problem. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. But I want to play this real quick. I want to play the comment that everybody was all up in arms about from Monica McNutt. I hope y'all can hear this. Let me see. Hold on. Hope y'all can hear this. I'm gonna try to turn everything up. All right. Here we go. Let me see. Where we at? Where we at? There we go. All right. This is the comment that's got everybody crazy.
Some of this, to me, probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not.
Now, that was the quote. That was the comment. So I understand the point that she was trying to make, but in the context of that whole conversation, she could have left that out. And that's just my opinion. But it wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. Not even close. It was not as bad as everybody made it out to be. And of course, everybody is, you saw my thumbnail. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do it to draw attention, but I'm a big believer of, don't judge a book by the cover. So, if you respond to the thumbnail, at least you could do is watch the video. So, and I'm finding more and more that I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people don't do that. They don't do their homework. They find exactly what they're looking for. They ignore context, and they just go with what's gonna insinuate, what's gonna inflame, because they doing they you know they twerking for clicks is what they're doing. But the point she was making is because she was represent what a lot of people in that area in Iowa can relate to. And I understand that to a degree. But the flip side of that is, okay, but what about if you're talking about Indiana? Arike Gumbawale went to the Irish. Olivia Miles, Notre Dame, and they don't, you know, you got just as much fanfare with them. So there's examples on both sides of it. That's why I say you can let that comment out. But I understand the point she was trying to make. And there's some truth to it. But I just thought it was unnecessary. And it didn't come from a bad place. And I see the content that everybody's creating off of it. And I was like, you looking for something to keep the hate and the conversation going and all that kind of stuff. So it is what it is. That's just the way social media is. It wasn't that bad. And when you listen to the whole conversation, it was, for the most part, it was 99% positive, and that 1%, I wouldn't even call that 1% not positive. I just thought that was the controversial take. It wasn't that bad. I understand the point she was trying to make. I just would have left it out. You ain't even have to say that. And by now, everybody know that Caitlin Clark's white. I'm pretty sure everybody got that. So, and the only thing stuff like that is just going to inflame the trolls and everybody trying to have an agenda and stuff like that. So it is what it is. Yeah, so social media gonna come for you, but they're in a good spot. They are in a good spot. By the way, did that audio come through? If that audio came through okay, or you had no problem hearing that, just put a thumbs up in the chat, because I was worried about that. So they got some things that they gotta iron out, the W as a league. Kathy Engelbert got to be on her best this year. And I don't dislike Kathy Engelbert. I like Kathy Engelbert, because when I was introduced to Kathy Engelbert, she was the commissioner, and then I started watching her, and every time I saw her on TV or something, she was talking about business. She was about business. She knows the layout. She knows the game plan, rivalries, conversations, and you got to make the games compelling and all of that type of stuff. She understands that. Audio was 7 out of 10. Could have been a bit louder. That's as loud as I can get it. That's what I was trying to figure out. Literally, that's as loud as I can get it. Maybe I can turn my main audio up a little bit. See if that, because I'm gonna play some more clips from this a little bit later. But I appreciate the feedback, though. Thank you. Arike will start on any team in the W. You damn Skippy. Yes, she will. Yeah, I like Jewel Lloyd. I'm a fan of Jewel Lloyd too. The women I started watching when I first started watching the league, when I didn't know anybody, I couldn't give you 5 names. But that first week I started watching, so obviously it was Kelsey Mitchell. Obviously it was Caitlin Clark, but take Caitlin Clark off the table, right? Kelsey Mitchell, Jewel Lloyd, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Jonquel Jones, Sabrina Ionescu. And I'll throw in Kelsey Plum, because I always tell a story. I saw Kelsey Plum and I did not know who she was. I had been seeing that meme on Twitter where she was throwing the T-shirts in the stands. I believe she was at a Lakers game and she was throwing T-shirts in the stands, and she threw a T-shirt to her dad, who was in an executive suite or something like that. So there was always this video clip of somebody throwing a T-shirt. When I first saw her, I thought she was like a flag football player, like a female flag football player. That's what I thought she was. I didn't know she was a hooper. I didn't know she was in a W. And then, of course, when I started paying attention, I was like, "Oh, that's old girl." And oh, that's the. Then I put two and two together, and I was like, "And okay, now she kind of nice." And then the other stuff, she got married to the dude from the Giants, and then they got divorced, and so then she was in the tabloid news. So her name was out there for the right reasons and the wrong reasons. And then, of course, Sabrina was in the 3-point contest, and I was like, "Ooh, I like her. She can hit him with the best of them." And I remember saying this. I remember saying when Caitlin Clark got in the league, I was like, Caitlin Clark. No, what I said Sabrina Ionescu is what Caitlin Clark wants to be. Because Sabrina could ball up, hit. She was tough. She can play good defense. She can take over a game. But that was before we knew what we knew. So, yeah, my first experience with the W, those were the players I was watching. Still love Jonquel Jones. So glad she got the MVP in the finals. And even the fact that I can go and name off about 10 to 20 WNBA players just off random, off the top of my head. I could not do that less than 2 years ago. I could not do that. I could give you maybe 3 or 4. And that includes Kelsey Mitchell because I know her. And that would include Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. So I'm saying that to say I didn't have a lot of knowledge about the W, but by watching it, being invested, all of that type of stuff, you like what you like. And I still say I wasn't a real big fan of Unrivaled. I watched Unrivaled. I watched with a group of people. Shout out to my man KSAP. You see my Billboard SBD Simply Ball Dropping podcast, KSAP. Started watching the WNBA with that group. I get more enjoyment with watching it with them than I do watching Unrivaled. 3-on-3 basketball just don't do it for me. But I watched anyway. Some of it. I didn't watch all of it. So, big fan of Jonquel Jones. I just wish she wouldn't have that slow ass wind up when she came up and hit them threes. Carlos says the woman that made me watch women's basketball was Dawn Staley. Yep, get that Philly girl. Maybe get it into the WNBA, Cynthia Cooper. Yeah. If I could think of an old school player that I could watch, I wish she was playing today because when I see highlights of her, that's what I say. That's what Angel Reese needs to be. Now I know she ain't gonna be that because she ain't got that type of jumper, and she ain't got that type of quickness. But Tina Thompson could shake and bake with the best of them. She was physical, she was quick, she was fast, she would pop that J, and she would keep it moving. Tina Thompson was exciting to watch. Cheryl Swoops was the bomb. You know, take all of the mess she in now, but when Cheryl Swoops came into the league, they was doing the damn thing. But Tina Thompson was special, man. Oof, that girl was nasty. You watch two games of Unrivaled, one being the playoff, one is rec ball. I mean, it's 3-on-3. It is what it is. You can call it rec ball, but there is a big audience for rec ball. There's a big audience for 3-on-3. I think the one-on-one thing that they had, the one-on-one tournament they had was pretty cool. And that's when their ratings spiked. Their ratings were average. But you're talking about an inaugural league, an inaugural year for a startup league, average is pretty good. They and keep it a buck. Yes, they were begging Caitlin Clark to play in the league because it would have raised their ratings. It would have took their ratings through the roof. And that's what they were trying to get. But I think Caitlin Clark did the smart thing because people would have been bitching about that too. Yeah, Tina Thompson was, woo, she was something special, man. She was something special. But those are the people, man, that set the tone. Candace Parker, because I remember watching Candace Parker a little bit at Tennessee. She was nasty at Tennessee, and she was nasty in the W. But they got the opportunity now, and this is the point that I always try to make. All of those other fans that were mad because Indiana was on the schedule 40 something times. It's like this is not about who's the best basketball player. This is about generating revenue. Period. This is about who can generate the most money. And right now, unquestionably, Caitlin Clark is the biggest draw in the WNBA. Point, period, in the paragraph. I didn't say the best player. That still goes to Asia Wilson and or Fee. But she is unquestionably the biggest draw. And again, I will give Asia Wilson some kudos because before I started watching the WNBA, I had heard that Las Vegas was already selling out season tickets before the season had started. Las Vegas was the first WNBA team to do that. They sold out all of their season tickets before the season had even started. I don't think anybody had done that before. So they were already, Las Vegas was already making moves. They got Becky Hammond down there. Asia and then went back to back. They was trying to get their 3P, didn't happen, but Las Vegas was moving the needle a little bit. And then when Caitlin Clark showed up, it blew everything out of the water. And of course, now every time she plays, everybody's moving to a bigger venue. And I don't think that's happened before. At least I don't remember. If you've been watching the W for a while, can you tell me in the past when I don't even think Candace did that? And in my opinion, Candace was the best to ever play in the W. So I wish Candace would have played one more year so her and Angel could have played together. If her and Angel would have played together this year now, Angel would be a hell of a lot nastier than she is. She can already rebound. People were talking shit on Angel because she kept getting her own rebounds. And I'm like, you think everybody just letting her do that? So I threw that out with the bathwater. I was like, that girl pulling down rebounds and can't nobody stop her. If you don't like she pulling down her own rebound, then you go get it. That's how I feel about it. But at the end of the day, Angel Reese, the one thing Angel Reese does better than anybody in the league, and she even did it as a freshman, that girl gets positioned underneath the basket better than anybody else in the league, with the exception, maybe, of Alyssa Thomas. But Angel Reese is quick enough. She's got good enough feet where she positions herself to get them rebounds, and she's got that quick hop. She doesn't necessarily jump high, but she does have a good wingspan, and she can go up the pull to buy. How the hell is Angel Reese pulling down more rebounds than somebody like Aaliyah Edwards or Aaliyah Boston? Aaliyah Boston is 6'5", and she does not rebound like she's 6'5". She does not do that. That's my gripe with Aaliyah Boston on Indiana. She does not rebound like she is 6'5" force. She rebounds very softly. Aaliyah Boston should be dominating in the blocks, and she doesn't. And it is frustrating to me. Don't say Nafisa's name around. Yeah, Nafisa, the total package, man. She got the game, she got the look, she got everything. So we'll see. And phone keep going on. But I like Fee. I like Fee. I like her game. I want to see them win. Sabrina Ionescu spoke at Kobe Bryant's funeral. After Kobe Bryant retired, he was bringing a lot of attention to the W with his support. Absolutely, because you knew his daughter was going to be in the W. For sure. For sure his daughter was going to be in the W, bro. That would have been exactly what the W needed. But unfortunately, and very sadly, it didn't happen. You already knew that was going to happen. And she was going to wreck shop. Are you kidding me? She was going to come in there and wreck shop. That would have been the perfect thing for the W. You had the money. Kobe would have brought in advertisers. He would have just his name would have brought everything in. His daughter playing. But unfortunately, tragedy struck. Tragedy struck. And there's no other. I know Lexi Brown's name is out there because you see her on the podcast, but don't nobody really remember D Brown like that. D Brown was nasty when he played, though. Don't get it twisted. But a lot of people don't make that association that that's his daughter. Yeah, Angel is quicker than Boston for sure. Aaliyah, my thing with Aaliyah Boston, when I watch her rebound, because it would piss me off because I would look at Nalissa Smith and I would say that's how Aaliyah Boston should be pulling down rebounds because Nalissa Smith can jump and she would go up and just yank them things down. Aaliyah Boston, like she would grab the rebound and she would hold it like this, like he was giving a plate of food or something. And a lot of times, people would steal the rebounds from her because she wasn't elbows out squeezing it like we teach kids to do. And it's just, I think like Aaliyah Boston is good, but she should be a dominant force, and she's not. Now, I'm hoping that by playing Unrivaled, maybe she shed a couple of pounds, and she'll be a little bit lighter because running up and down that court, she got gassed a couple of games. That was very evident to see. She got gassed and Unrivaled. You always hear about NFL game speed. Aaliyah's game speed is still sporadic at times. Yes, hopefully Stephanie White will be. That's a good point. Absolutely. So, and I like Stephanie White. I think that was a good addition. I think Christy Sides. I think they made the playoffs in spite of Christy Sides, in my opinion. Because Christy Sides it was a couple times she just looked like she was outmatched. And I think they made a right move. And you can always tell how much people value a person, a coach, a player, because when Christy Sides got fired, where's she at now? Who's she with? If you are a good coach, somebody's gonna scoop you up with the quickness. I don't think anybody has hired Christy Sides. I haven't heard her going with any teams, anything like that. Has anybody else heard anything? Let me see. Does it say where she is? Let's see. It just said her last thing is Indiana Fever. They're parting ways with Sides, current as September 4, 2024. Yeah, she has not been hired. She has not gone anywhere else. Now, I don't know if that's by her choice, if she's not even, trying to field interviews or anything like that. I don't know. But usually if you're a good coach and you get fired, somebody will scoop you up with the quickness. What's up, Professor? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. What's good? I can't wait either, man. It'll just be a good Final Four tomorrow, or at least the start of it. I want to see my girl Dawn Staley get the repeat. I want to see her go back to back, but I can't lie. UCLA and UConn are looking hella good right now. Paige Beckers is on fire, and Lauren Betts is on fire. The last two games from Lauren Betts, she has looked dominant. She didn't even look dominant most of the year. The last 2 games that she played for UCLA, she looked dominant. And if she dominates like that, um, they'll beat UConn because it's hard to when you can get the ball down low. Uh, does Paige Beckers have another 30, 40-point game in her? We'll see. We'll see. And UCLA's defense is better than people are giving them credit for. Texas can beat South Carolina. Madison Booker, Lord have mercy, that girl is not playing. So all the matchups are going to be good. UCLA, the only thing, the one weakness with UCLA that I've seen is number one, I don't know what this is. This is a women's basketball thing. I don't know what this is. I saw this last year in the W, and I was scratching my head because I was like, what in the hell are they doing? It seems to me that a lot of times when the bigs in the NCAA women's basketball, when they get the ball down low, for some reason they get too far underneath the rim, and they literally have to jump backwards to get the rim in front of them, and it makes for an awkward shot, and it's usually a turnover or like a block or a stolen ball or something like that because they down there and they end up getting in the weeds and they can't get out. Even Lauren Betts, a couple times the other night, she got the ball and was damn near on the out of bounds line, and you got to jump backwards to get the rim in front of you. And I was like, why are you going so far underneath the basket? Understand your spatial awareness, where you supposed to be. Saw that in the W too. So I don't know if that's a thing that some girls do and they just don't pay attention to it. I don't know. It's a phenomenon because I see it a lot. South Carolina getting got. Yeah. South Carolina is South Carolina, probably with the exception of Paige and Maddie Booker. South Carolina has the most electric player in women's college basketball in Malaysia for Wiley. But I don't know what the hell is going on with her because Dawn Staley sits her ass on the bench almost all the time. When you got that much talent and you coming off the bench, she scored 5 points the other day. 5. And she only played 11 minutes. And some people would argue that she's probably the best player on the court. I don't know what's going on with that girl, but she got 2 games to get it together. Well, really, she got 1 game. Because if they don't get it together against Texas, they going home. So I don't know what the situation is for Wiley. When she's on, she is incredible. But she gets streaky. She misses shots. She gets herself in foul trouble. And Dawn Staley is not afraid to sit her ass on the bench. And it is weird because you're thinking that she can take over. She can take over a game, but I don't know what it is. Dawn Staley don't like something, and sometimes from what I've seen and how she plays, I understand. So appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Just went to the trophy party the other day. I got pictures and stuff like that, so that's fun. UCLA, Texas demolished the Horned Frogs. Yeah, TCU. Haley Van Lith just couldn't get it done, man. I tell you what, man, UCLA. Never in 100 years would I thought that they were going to shut down Sedona Prince like that. They held that girl to 4 points. 4. You trying to get to the Final Four, and they get 4 points. I believe she had 4 points and like 9 rebounds or something like that. They frustrated the hell out of that girl, and they made her work for everything. She was gassed early, and I might have to do another video about this, but Sedona Prince, her as the person, very interesting situation with her because and I'm saying it in this perspective. Now that the WNBA is a mainstream sport, now this is a mainstream sport. Sedona Prince has a history of domestic violence. How is the WNBA going to deal with that? You look at somebody with Ashlyn Watkins, you're probably going to ask yourself the same question. Although Ashlyn Watkins was acquitted and all those charges against her were dropped. Sedona Prince, so it'll be interesting to see how the WNBA handles her past. And rest assured, someone is going to bring it up. Somebody's going to bring it up. So we'll see. We'll see. But they shut her down though. UCLA, they shut her down something awful. She couldn't get nothing going. She's a good player. She's a great player. But on that day, Lauren Betts and UCLA handled their business. You heard she going back? She's the best pro player in college. Where is she from? Is she American? Sedona is not necessarily a North American name. Sounds like it's German or somewhere over there in Europe. I don't know. But it'll be, like I said, very interesting to see how they handle her and what if what if anything comes of it. So we'll see what's going to happen. But let me see. I had another clip from the interview that I wanted to talk about. Let me check my notes real quick. Flash in the pan. They were talking about the interviewer was talking about, can they sustain this success? Can the WNBA sustain this success? Let me go back to that. Where'd it go? There we go. What was that? Is that the 2 minute? Yeah, that's the 2 minute mark. All right, so hold up. All right, I'm gonna turn the volume up a little bit. See if this helps.
Like you say, there were these, it was so personality driven. And then I wonder, how long can anything really be sustained if it depends on one or two personalities?
Well, Caddy, and this is totally a fair question because I have discussed it with friends. I have thought about it endlessly myself. Is this something that was a flash in the pan because of all of these different factors, right? Now, here's where I am. We'll have to wait until we get to April 6th this year to see what the numbers provide in terms of viewership of the women's tournament this year. But when I'm watching the Super Bowl and I see a Nike commercial that features Juju Watkins and Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson, Jordan Childs, and other women athletes, when I'm starting to see Flau'jae pop up with Experian because she's helping to pay back debt in combination with the company of Forgiveco, when I'm seeing a variety of young women, I mean, the Notre Dame women's team and an insurance commercial, like when I'm seeing women become more and more part of the actual mainstream experience of sport, I'm inclined to believe that we are in fact seeing a change. I do think that last year, and this is me, just having been in it and having lived in it, I do think last year will represent a spike, but I do not think we will go back to where we were either.
So, great point. And it's something that I try to bring up all the time because it's all, again, she just said it a different way than I just said it. It's not about the best players. It's about the more popular players, and the more popular players are going to bring in advertisers and sponsors. And that's exactly what's happening. She made a very good point. All the commercials you saw, that Nike commercial, you can't win, just win. State Farm commercials, Experian, the stuff that Flau'jae is doing. Angel Reese got the McDonald's commercials and the was it the Cash App boxes and all of that type of stuff. So the advertising is here, and people are recognizing the appeal because everybody knows women spend more than men. So those dollars are going to be spent. So if you can capture all of those young girls, teenage girls, young adult girls with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese jerseys on, spending money on merch, that's what you're looking for. And I think Monica McNutt makes a perfect point in saying now the advertising dollars have recognized what these women are bringing to the table, and they are acting on it. And that is the leverage that the WNBA needs going into this collective bargaining agreement. You got to be able to bring the money because the advertisers bring the sponsors. The sponsors are responsible for bringing the networks. The networks is going to give you the media rights. The media rights is the big money that you want. The media rights is what makes a commercial, a 30-second commercial during the Super Bowl, $30 million. Media rights does that, but the demand has to be there. And I think now they have the demand. And again, the WNBA players, some of the players, they got to stop getting mad at who kicked in the door and just be glad that the door is open. That's what they got to do. Stop trying to control social media. You will never control social media. The people that hate and troll and send that inflammatory crap, you just got to ignore them. You got to let it go. You think Kobe didn't get that shit? You think LeBron doesn't get it now? You think Magic? You think Magic and Bird, when Magic played in Boston, Boston is not the most welcoming city to black folks. They got history too. So, and I'm saying that to say, you don't think that Magic heard a whole bunch of shit when he went to Boston to play the Celtics? Escorted to the hotel and all of that? They got they got everything in place. The only thing they got to do is play ball. I know a lot of people were all upset that they supported trans rights. You know, they put out a thing on Twitter today about supporting trans rights. The day of what did it say? The day of acceptance or something like that. And meanwhile, you got still people like they don't want men as women playing sports with they little girls. So you got some touchy and some dicey subjects, but at the end of the day, who's spending the money? Stop effing with the money. That's what it comes down to. That's the leverage that the WNBA has. Now, when Fee said, when she was on Stephen A. Smith's First Take, and she said, we have all the leverage, I was like, no, the hell you don't. You do not have all the leverage. The leverage is and always has been in the laps of the owners, period. You do not have all the leverage. The ugly part about this is if the WNBA decided to kick, if the NBA decided to kick the WNBA to the curb, the NBA wouldn't miss a beat. Whatever the WNBA makes for the NBA is a drop in the bucket. But the W is just getting to the point now where they can bring in some real revenue. My prediction is by 2028 or 29, if the WNBA's trajectory continues, they should be in the black by 28 or 29. Now that's 3-4 years away. So it's not going to happen tomorrow. They're going to continue to make money. And I'm talking about getting into the black as a business entity. The WNBA as a business entity has lost money every year in its existence. They got to get out from under that. And now they got the people to actually do it. Now they got stars in the league that people are paying attention to. People are going to watch Caitlin Clark. People are going to watch Angel Reese. People are going to watch Alyssa Peely, Aaliyah Edwards, Paige Beckers, AZ Fudd when she ever decides to come out. All this new crop of freshmen coming out, people are going to be watching. People are going to be watching. So UCLA took the blueprint that South Carolina laid out there when they played TCU earlier this year. Absolutely. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And like I said, Lauren Betts was a presence in that game. Lauren Betts, and Kiki Rice. I was upset with Kiki Iriafen for USC. I was sorely disappointed in her game. She looked very pedestrian, and it was like Juju was gone. You gotta take this game over, and it ended up being Ryan Marshall. USC, like Juju Watkins is the only person that can hit a three for the Trojans because they couldn't hit a mirror in the bathroom. It was bad. It was very bad. Iriafen was missing shots under the rim. That girl can dunk, and she was missing layups. I did not understand that at all. I don't know if she cracked under pressure. I don't know. I don't know. Pressure does two things. It makes diamonds and busts pipes. And it was just, I was disappointed in her because I wanted to see her dominate, take over a game, and prove that she was her own player. She didn't need to be Batman, Robin, the Juju. She could do her own thing, and she couldn't do it. She did not do it. I was disappointed. Dude, I'm still am with Kiki. Listen, man, when I saw that workout with Kiki and she was dunking regularly without effort, and I was like, I just know that she gonna dunk on somebody in the game, and she had opportunities and she never did it. And I was thinking, I think I actually said this on a live one night. I was like, I just need Kiki Iriafen to just dunk on somebody to let all of USC know, like, hey, I got this. And I was in the fever dream or something because she wasn't doing nothing close to that. Nothing close. Rhea Marshall and what's the freshman name? Kaylee Heckle. I like her. Number 9, Kaylee Heckle. I like the way she played. We got a good crop of freshmen this year. Kaylee Heckle, Toby Fournier, Silas Swords at Michigan. We had a lot of good freshmen that showed up this year. So again, for the W, looking long-term into the W, the next 4 to 6 years, you get power coming out. You get ballers coming out, and people are going to watch. You got an extra year with Juju because Juju ain't going to play next year. Juju going to sit out, red shirt, because of when her knee went in the playoffs. That means she's got a rehab well into 2025. Her rehab won't be done until maybe this time next year, truthfully. You give her 10 months. 10 months is being very, very generous. Because once the knee heals, you got to get the mental part of it together. Yeah, man. I like Kiki. I like Kiki. Still do. I just need her to. I hope she takes that step up when she gets to the W. Because she can dunk. Women like her are what the WNBA needs. No, they don't have to dunk every time down the court, but every now and then. When I saw Brittany Griner dunk in the Unrivaled game, I was like, you've been holding out on us this whole year? Toby Fournier, I can't wait till she gets to the W. I can't wait. Toby Fournier was dunking with 2 hands when she was 13. Okay? I know she can get up and dunk on some people. I just want to see it in a game. I just want to see it in the game and some semblance of a little bit of regular, consistency with something like that happens. You get a fast break, go ahead, jam it down. Do what you got to do. So, but yeah, man. Did I have one? CC White, the rivalry. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play this. Let's just okay. This is when she was talking about Angel Reese and Caitlin.
I think from this point out, there are stars to attach your name in your fandom too, right? The Juju Watkins, the Paige Becker, the Kiki Rice. There are a number of them. I don't know that we will have sort of the rivalry, whether you want to base that rivalry of Clark and Reese based on sport or on society or any of the other above. the two of them I happen to know have tremendous respect for one another. Rivalry and clear sides is a part of why we love sport. I don't.
Yeah. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are not a rivalry. They do not play the same position, so they will not guard each other. Angel Reese and Fee is another story. Because of what happened in Unrivaled, that's going to come back over to the WNBA. So when Minnesota and Chicago play, that'll be a game I'll make sure to watch. That's how you build on that. That's how you build on that. Even when they was in college, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, they don't guard each other. Angel Reese plays down low. So they were trying to pit them together. It just didn't work because they don't guard each other. Now, when Flau'jae comes into the league, that's different. She might have to guard CC. So you can make something out of that. But the W's in a good place. The W's in a good place. They got right. You can call it the rivalry. Heck, the rivalry this year might be Paige and CC. Because Dallas has got to let Paige start, period. They got to let her start. So the W's in a good place. Everybody's looking forward to this year, especially the draft. I got to start doing some mock drafts on the WNBA. It's time. It's time. So, that was it. Angel and Clark is very much a rivalry, just like Bird and Magic, who played different positions. Yeah, but Bird and Magic had an opportunity because both of them were guards. Magic was a guard / forward, and he always guarded the best person on the other team. So they went head to head a few times. Angel and Caitlin don't necessarily go head to head unless something happened and Angel got to come out on defense for whatever reason. So, but I understand your point. So, but yeah, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. We've been rocking and rolling for about an hour and 20 minutes. It is 11:50, and I want to go to bed because I gotta get up early tomorrow and go to work. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Do not miss Thursday night, 8 p.m. I have Brandon Whiting will be my guest on Pro Fan Talk. He is another Eagles alumni, defensive tackle for about 7 years with the Eagles. Get a chance to talk with him. So make sure you join me. That is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Pro Fan Talk Thursday night. All right. It's a good conversation, man. Good conversation. Can't wait to put this in Opus Clips and see how many clips I get out of this. But I'm going to get up out of here. Hope y'all had a good night. Kev, Henry T. Hurley, El Professor, I appreciate you. Oh, and by the way, if you guys don't know, memberships are active. So become a member. That's one of the things I got to do this weekend. I got to shoot a video promoting my memberships. But memberships are active, so I appreciate you if you want to become a member. $2.99 and $6.99 are my only two tiers. I'll have a third tier later, but that remains to be seen. But you can become a member for $2.99. So appreciate everybody. You guys have a good night, and we will pick this up tomorrow. I think tomorrow I might go ahead and have a long conversation about the tush push and why they want to ban it. We might steamroll into that a little bit, but we'll solve that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, okay? I'm going to get up out of here. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. Be safe. God loves you. I love you. And I will holler at you in the next one. Peace.